So let me introduce to you a great guitar player, a great inspiration for many people around the world, the one and only Peter Dankelson. Welcome.
Hi. Hi, thank you. Thank you
Th-
for having me.
So the first question that I have, Peter, is how you decided to become a guitar player.
Yeah, so that's kind of interesting. So it kind of started one day when let's see, it was about getting close to 5 years ago. So it's probably spring of 2016 when I picked up the guitar. And kind of around that time period, I kind of been listening to a lot of rock and roll music at that time and kind of getting to, I don't know, kind of broke away from the top 40 pop hits, whatever they were at the time, and kind of started to discover more rock and roll on my own and kind of found out that I really liked it, really enjoyed it. And I kept listening and listening and listening to it and really enjoying it. And I got really curious and said to my dad one day, I'm like, hey, it'd be really fun to maybe learn how to play guitar. I think it'd be really cool. And lucky for me, he still had his guitar from when he was in high school and an amp and a pedal and all that too. So pretty much all the stuff was here. And I went on YouTube and kind of started looking up songs from there, and I've been hooked ever since. It's really cool.
Come here, let me show you something. Keep playing the blues.
Let's talk about your influences. Which
Mhm.
are the guitar players that influence you the most?
Yeah, so I think the biggest one for sure, Angus Young from ACDC. It's a
Mhm.
huge influence on my playing. I also really love Slash, whether it's Guns N' Roses, Snake Pit, his solo stuff with Miles Kennedy. I love all of his projects that he's done. Zeppelin, Aerosmith, a lot of the classic blues-based rock and roll bands. I really like those guys a lot.
And which are your favorite ACDC albums, and why do you like them?
Let's see. That's a tough question. I think probably my favorite is definitely Power Ridge. I think that's definitely, if people kind of know their catalog, Power Ridge always seems to pop up as a big favorite for lots of people, not just myself. Back in Black, of course, is such a legendary album. Highway to Hell, High Voltage. I mean, I love it all. And I mean, the new album too, Power Up. I love it. I've been playing that, on repeat nonstop since it's come out. I'm really getting a kick out of that one.
Great. What is your favorite live album of ACDC?
Oh man. Uh, well, honestly, it's kind of that first album I discovered from them. It's still one of my favorites. Just the sound and energy of it. Live, I mean, any of the live albums, to be honest. But live at Donington's always been a special one for me. But also too, being in Argentina, I'm sure, live at River Plate. I mean, just I love the concert DVD.
Yeah.
Not only was the band sounding great, but my goodness, I mean, just seeing the crowd, you really kind of see the passion in Argentina. That really blew me away.
Yeah. That's great.
Just the energy of that crowd. I really got a kick out of that.
Yeah. Can you explain to our audience what Goldenhar Syndrome is?
Yeah, so Goldenhar Syndrome, it's basically a rare craniofacial syndrome. It affects people in a lot of different ways, but how it affects me is I'm missing my,
Yes.
I'm missing my left ear. So that's kind of the main visual thing, but also, you know, internally, let's see, I have only one, you know how you have, you know, two kidneys in the back, right? Well, for some reason I have one in the front. Let's see, I had a really small jaw when I was born. So I had a couple jaw surgeries to kind of help enlarge the lower half of my face. And actually, with one of the last surgeries that I had, it was a really big jaw surgery a few years ago. What that did is one of the other things with my syndrome is my airway is very small. So what doctors did is they basically custom made this jawbone, a TMJ joint, and they placed it into my left side and replaced that bone there. And then they kind of stretched that lower jaw out and then put that implant in place and then closed everything up. And then from the jaw surgery, it made my small airway bigger, which was really nice. And for about 19 years, I had a hole in my neck because of how small my airway was. It helped me breathe easier. So not this September. It was September of 2019. I had the hole in my neck closed, and that was kind of a big procedure there. So overall, 35 surgeries.
Wow, but you look great now.
Yeah, feeling pretty good. So, and thankfully, I think I'm done with a lot of the big stuff for now. Hopefully.
Let's talk about your company, Pete's Diary. Can you tell us what the company is all about?
Yeah, so Pete's Diary, it's kind of a cool, interesting story. When I was born, I was born in, let's see, Michigan in the U.S. From October to January, I was in like an ICU for babies, you know, the NICU. So I was there for a few months, and you know, this was 2000, right, when I was born. So it wasn't like social media was that big of a thing yet. So to keep my family updated on what was going on with me at the time, you know, what specialist was coming in to see me and all this, you know, daily updates on what I was doing and stuff. My mom, she kind of kept a diary entry basically of what was going on that day and kind of wrote it in my voice a little bit. It just kind of, it was helpful to her. It was kind of therapeutic to kind of, you know, deal with all the craziness that was going on with me. So she would send out these, I don't know, like emails or something to, you know, my family members, and it was kind of labeled Pete's Diary. So that's kind of how it all started. And then it also kind of evolved into a speaking thing. I spoke to middle schools for a very long time. And then Pete's Diary kind of came back into the picture as like, okay, what do we call this, you know, public speaking company? And we're like, well, okay, you know, Pete's Diary, we could bring that back. That'd be pretty cool. And then ultimately, you know, Pete's Diaries evolved even further as just more than the motivational speaking. When I picked up the guitar and started playing, we, you know, pulled the music into it as well. So now it's, you know, motivational speaking and, you know, music, rock and roll. So it's continually evolving, you know. So it's really, really cool.
Amazing. Yeah, you're a great inspiration for many musicians around the world. I mean, for me, it's like you're a great guitar player. It's like you have a lot of soul when you play, and I think that's the most important thing in a musician. I've been playing drums for 30 years, and the first time I heard you playing the guitar, I was blown away. It was amazing. So
thank you.
Incredible.
Well, we could talk about kind of a few of my favorites back here. We can kind of run through them all really quick. Okay, you can kind of see this right there. That's a Gibson 339, a hollow body, and I've really been digging that guitar lately. That's kind of a, there we go. That's kind of a newer It's kind of a newer edition.
Yeah.
But I've really been enjoying that guitar a lot lately. It's just got a really great sound. Really warm. It sounds really big too. It's got a really big sound to it.
Mm-hmm.
And over here, you know, me being such a huge Angus Young fan, gotta have a Gibson SG. And that was kind of my first baby, you know. So I was really excited to get an SG for kind of my first true guitar.
Mm-hmm.
And there's Gold Top right there. And that's definitely kind of influenced from Slash. You know, he's also had a really big impact on my playing. And then right next to that Sunburst Strat, it's a Stevie Ray Vaughan signature. And Stevie Ray Vaughan's one of my favorite guitar players as well. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
And then right here, don't know if you've heard of him or not, Jared James Nichols.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a fantastic blues rock guitar player. I know that's his signature Epiphone right there.
Awesome. And you have for Christmas last year a Gibson Les Paul, right?
Yeah, it's actually right there between those two acoustics. It was originally on that wall hook right there, but the thing with Les Pauls that I found out, they're very heavy. So one day I took it off the hook and I could see that one of the top screws was starting to come out of the wall. So it kind of had to get moved over there.
Let's talk about your single. I mean, your song, "Can't Stop Staring."
Yep.
Yeah. Where do you get the inspiration to write that song? Actually, you're playing acoustic guitar and using a slide.
Yeah, so it's kind of funny because, like, you know, people followed me on social media. They probably best know me for, you know, the electric guitar, you know, fast kind of, you know, rockin' runs and that kind of thing. So I just thought it was kind of funny at first when I'm like, man, the first song I'm ever going to put out is going to be an acoustic and a slide. Kind of a bit different from what people would expect. But actually it kind of came about, I was doing kind of a songwriting class and kind of trying to dive more into, you know, writing a song. Because like in my phone, I have tons of riffs and stuff, but I never really kind of tried to put a whole thing together yet. So I'm like, okay, this would be a fun idea. So kind of the class, I kind of had a, you know, I just kind of started to mess with the slide at the time and kind of get some stuff under my fingers. And I'm like, well, this would be kind of a fun way to pay tribute to some of those classic America Delta blues musicians.
Yeah.
Which I think definitely kind of has that feel, you know, it's just guitar, a slide, and vocals, you know, very stripped down, kind of like those old, you know, old blues records. So I'm like, this would be kind of a cool way to do a nod to that. And lyrically, too, it's about, you know, me missing my ear. Like if you look at the lyrics and stuff, you know, started out my day, you know, that kind of thing. Just kind of a small glimpse into kind of my life a little bit, how that could feel.
Okay.
Yeah, it was really fun. It was fun to put together and, you know, fun to kind of try something new.
All right. It was obviously, like I said, a tremendous honor meeting you, and keep on rocking. You're doing a great job. All right, Peter.
Thank you.
We keep in touch, and I talk to you soon. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.